called the 10% rule is something to talk about too, because you're going to be kind of taking a simple random sample from size n from a population of size uppercase N. We can use a binomial distribution model to count the successes in the sample as long as the sample is smaller than 10% of the population. So what this is meaning is, let's say we were going to use the school's population. I don't know, I guess there's probably something like maybe 600 students in the whole population. If there are 600 students in the school, and we are going to take a sample of the population, the binomial distribution we needed to use was where we made sure that they were independent. Okay, now we're going to get some different answers for things, but as long as 10% of the population is about 60 people, as long as we're talking about 60 people or less than 10% of the population, we can assume they're independent events. Like, let's say we were talking about students who are performing in swimming, and we're comparing them against students who are also play softball. They might not be really independent. There possibly could be a student who is in both swimming and softball. But because it's 10% or less of the population, we may get some differences, but they're not going to be drastic differences. So we can assume that it's independent, and we can calculate it the same way we've been calculating other things. We might be a hair off, but it's not really going to make that much of a statistical difference. That's what the 10% rule means. Try number 88 from page 405. And the question says, in the game of Scrabble, each player begins by drawing 7 tiles from a bag containing 100 tiles. There are 42 vowels, 56 consonants, and 2 blank tiles in the bag. And if you sum that up, that adds up to 100 tiles altogether. Kat chooses her 7 tiles and is surprised to discover that all of them are vowels. Can we use a binomial distribution to approximate this probability? It doesn't actually want you to find it, but can we use a binomial distribution? The 10% rule is to find out what's 10% of 100, and it should be 10. And since 7 tiles is smaller than 10% of the whole population then we can use the binomial distribution because of it. So that's what this means, just making sure that you pick something that's not greater than 10% of the whole population.